What's something you found on a partner's phone that instantly changed the relationship forever, but they never knew you saw it? I went through my partner's phone after he passed away from cancer last year. I had to find contact numbers for a few friends not on the funeral list we made. In his notes app, I found phrases he used in his letters to me, as we often wrote to each other when he was in hospital and visiting times were short. English was not his first language and I hadn't realized how hard he had practiced in order to say what he wanted to say. I sent myself a copy of those notes and look at them often. I'm sorry for your loss. Sounds like a great and thoughtful person. A few years ago, I was adding some items to the Notes app grocery list on my wife's phone. The app opened to the most recent list, which was a copy of her wedding vows with the promises she made to me. Things like supporting my dreams, being my partner in crazy adventures. Besides, each one was a list of ideas to match, including some things we had done recently. We were going through a rough patch at the time, and seeing that list doubled my resolve to work through it. Did you guys work it out? We worked it out. We were dealing with grief from a stillbirth and my stepfather, who raised me, being sick. It took a lot of therapy and honesty, but the relationship has never been better. That sucks, man. Glad to hear you are doing better though. There was a photo album of nothing but pictures of me and our son titled, My Perfect Men. There were pictures in there I didn't even know about. Him helping me wash my car, us laying on the couch, him teaching me Minecraft, me helping him ride a bike, etc. I was a mess for a while. Ugly crying. Happy tears. But ugly crying. I had no idea I was loved so deeply by her. My wife is quiet, introverted and didn't grow up in an environment that was outwardly loving. I wasn't snooping at all, but asked her to share some recent pictures of our son after a sports day at his school. I saw her in a different light after that. Our already good marriage hit a level I didn't even know was possible. That's really beautiful. Photo of myself shirtless, crudely edited to look like I was making out with Shadow the Hedgehog. What? // the only reasonable response. I like how half of these are the most wholesome stuff you've ever read, and the other half is absolute horror stories. Absolute horror stories that end with the phrase 6 years later we broke up. Like seriously? Scary people are very difficult to break up with. Left her laptop open, and I saw a folder called Secret Stuff. Momentary panic followed, and I couldn't help myself. It was literally just thousands of pictures of our dogs. But what was in her dogs folder? Also more pictures of our dogs. Her phone camera roll is 99% our dogs. The other 1% is food she's cooked. His messenger chats with my mom. He jokes with my mom a lot and would always ask about me, what I was like as a kid, why am I so full of energy, and how to take care of me. My mom had cancer and passed away last 2023, but their last messages to each other was him assuring her he'd take care of me the way she wants to. This is a type of post I hope to see on this thread. I'm sorry for your loss. Their bond really shows the depth of his character. You were lucky to have them. A couple months into dating a girl, I was sitting in the passenger seat of her car waiting for her to come back from running inside her house when I saw a text come through on her phone that said, "Happy anniversary, baby. Can't wait to see you tonight." So, yeah, that ended. Holy shit. Was she married or just cheating on her boyfriend? Both. Technically. He handed me his phone when he was driving so I could text his mom for him. When I unlocked his phone, it opened to a note that was just a list of everything I've ever mentioned that I liked, and it was titled gift ideas. Like one of the items in the list was something I had seen in the window of a shop and mentioned that I thought it was cute, then we just kept walking. It made me feel so loved to know that he paid attention to every tiny thing. We're married now, lol. I worked with a guy who'd just buy those things as soon as possible. Not to give as soon as possible, but he always had a couple presents ready for whatever special date he forgot about. Never scrambling on February 13th. Or when he forgot their anniversary or her birthday. Or whatever. It was kind of genius. But it was also such an engineer thing to do. See problem. Solve problem. I do that too, haha. Or wait until something is on sale. My husband knows the spare room closet is off limits for him because there will be a Christmas gift in there in like February. Not his phone, but my late husband's tablet. A year after he died, I was clearing his tablet of stuff and saw he had a Twitter account. I was reading through his posts and hit one that had me in tears for the rest of the day. He had responded to some thread about keeping women in their place or some such garbage. Husband had posted a long rant about how being married for 35 years to a woman who never tired of learning, who never let things stop her, stayed interested in new things, was the best thing in his life, and that a smart, thinking woman kept his life interesting and exciting. I always knew he felt this way, but seeing him say this to a total internet stranger, in a forum he thought I would never see, was just kind of overwhelming for a few days. We were friends for 45 years. Best friends for 43 years. Married for 37 years. He died 3.5 years ago, and the hole in my life is just as big as the day he died. I'm not languishing or yearning to follow him anytime soon, but I miss him tremendously. I'm sorry for your loss. That's a touching story. A folder with pictures of me, but not pictures on dates or anything. Mostly pictures of me making silly faces, or sleeping or eating. It showed me that he values me being comfortable and just existing a lot more than being dolled up and perfect constantly. I wish that line of thinking was more common. I have an entire secret folder of photos of my fiancée that she said to delete. That I'm serious when I show her the photo I took. Unless it's a perfect photo, lighting, angle, she doesn't like it. I love asking my wife for ugly selfies. She pretty much turns on her front facing camera, snaps the pic and sends. No filter, no makeup, no angle, no lighting, just a raw image. It's my absolute favorite selfie to receive of her. Notes keeping track of how long since we last had a fight, when to pick the next one if we haven't had one by then, and potential things to pick a fight about. She didn't believe in a relationship going more than 4 weeks without a fight. Also a list of my passwords she'd managed to uncover. A girl I dated years ago once confronted me about how I wouldn't start fights and that it bored her. She was used to toxic relationships. She got nuttier and over time, we ended up having plenty of fights. She told me to pound sand one day over something trivial. I asked if she wanted to join me for dinner with my roommates. She didn't reply. So I told her I'd catch her afterward. At that point she did reply and lashed out how I just do what I want and don't care about her and to not bother speaking to her again. So I complied and that was that. I was pretty fed up with her and just shrugged it off and had a laugh with my friends at dinner. Apparently I'm single now. I talked to her years later and she conceded she was still in love and it broke her heart that I didn't go after her. I lolled. Been together since back quote 17. Had a gut feeling to check his phone, but he always was guarded when it come to it. He fell asleep one day with YouTube open, looked through his Instagram, and for the past 6 months he was in a group chat with 2 other people sending each other videos of using the restroom in diapers and exchanging feet pics, all for amounts of money that never exceeded $10. No idea how to even approach this. I don't mean to laugh, but this is insane. To be honest, I laughed too at first. Was completely blindsided. At least let it be for more money or something. IDK. It sounds like this is something that you are going through like right now. Was coming across the secret incontinence like a thing you ran into last night. Just tell him you found it without more detail than that and ask him what the F. For more context, yes, I saw it this morning. He was active and had sent a video literally at 3 AM after I'd fallen asleep around 1 AM. Will probably follow your suggestion though. Just navigating the shell shock carrot. I saw my wife keeps an app for reminders for everyone's birthday and significant dates of our relationship. She also has a bunch of photo montages she created of us together. I never question her love and devotion of me. That's pretty dope, man. Good for you. He sent a photo of his jizz on our bed sheets to another woman. WTF lol, that's so lame. Look on my works. Ye mighty in despair, ops husband. Jizzimandius? That made me cackle so hard. Proof that she was cheating. Took a video with my own phone of all the proof. then confronted her that I knew she was cheating, but didn't tell her how. She confessed to cheating with an entirely different person than what I had proof of. Wild times lol. A relative of mine was a school teacher. When a kid was in trouble, he'd sit them down and say back quote, "I already know what happened, but this is your opportunity to tell your side." He said he had to train himself to hide his surprise because it almost always resulted in the kid admitting to a bunch of different things besides what they were suspected of. That happens at my work fairly regularly. Whenever I have to formally discipline an associate, I start the conversation with, "Do you know why we are here today?" 98% of the time, they do. In fact, know why they are there. 1% genuinely didn't know they were doing anything wrong. And the last 1%, my lord, I brought an associate in once to write him up for attendance. He confessed to theft in the low six-figure range. Another was going to be written up for being caught asleep. He said it was because he cut the brakes on someone's car. The 1%, was that wrong? Should I have not done that? I tell you, I gotta plead ignorance on this thing, because if anyone had said anything to me at all when I first started here, that sort of thing was frowned upon. You know, cause I've worked in a lot of offices and I tell you people do that all the time. My husband changed his phone password to my name within 3 months of us dating. He didn't tell me he had. I only realized one day when I needed to unlock his phone and asked. I had trust issues going into our relationship, so it was a shock that someone would use my name for anything. We've now been together for 7 years, and I'm still his password. Thank you for giving me a positive note to leave this thread on. This is super relatable to me, and I'm very happy for you. Cheating. I noticed her phone ding. Looked down as I was nearby and noticed it said something about a date she had been on. We had not been on any dates. It kinda tore apart the trust I had for her. I walked up on my fiancé at the bar, looked over her shoulder, and saw a text was open from just some random dude who also frequented the bar. I read the text message out loud. It was something stupid like, "Hey there," and she lost her shit. Later that night we had a huge argument and she punched me in the chest so hard I had a bruise for several days. I should have known what a big red flag that was. She was cheating on me, just not with that guy. I hope you left her abusive there and then. She told her colleagues and friends she divorced me because I was abusive. I wasn't. She didn't. She just wanted to play around in her circle without being judged by pretending she was single. No one ever asked me. I just got blocked. Well, that's horrendous. I'm so sorry. Yes, it was pretty bad. And of course this is just one issue in isolation, and I'm still dealing with the repercussions. She left a Facebook Messenger conversation between her and her friend open on her computer. I'd use her computer when was at class, but it was her complaining how much time I spent at her apartment and that I was smothering her by always being around. I was surprised by this as she'd have a breakdown and accuse me of abandoning her when I'd leave to stay at my own place for a few days, trying to appear cool in front of her friend. Lol. I'm totally not clingy. He is. He can't get enough of me. Me and my fiancé have a really chill relationship. We respect that phones are private, so we don't snoop, but use each other's phones all the time for stuff like a torch etc. when we grab whatever's nearest, or to Google a number. I was asking about something, and he said look it up, and passed his phone. I went to Google, and it opened his last tab. He was looking at engagement rings. I clicked on another tab, and searched on that instead to try to hide that I'd seen it. I never confessed I'd seen it, but Christ, I knew pretty early on I wanted to spend my life with him, and we'd had casual conversations, but I'm a natural skeptic. To see that just really solidified in my little worried brain that he wasn't lying when he said he loved me. I love that this story starts with my fiancé. It's like a little spoiler of joy. Damn, I just noticed how that's really cool. Seeing her defend me in her family group, threatening to break contact with her entire family if they keep bad mouthing me all the time. Telling them how happy she's with me and how much I helped her gain self-confidence, which they always try to destroy. And funnily enough, what a great cook I'm after that she lashed out at them, calling out her family's bad marriages and lying relationships. Love that woman. Never gonna let her go. Cried a bit when I've accidentally read all of it. I was using his phone when mine had died, and I have a habit of closing apps. He had a million open, and it was driving me nuts, and his Reddit was open. He doesn't post most much, just follows and likes a bunch of woodworking and bushcrafting subreddits. But the few posts he commented on were about me. It made my heart feel so happy I wanted to vomit lol. My favorite comment was about someone planning Valentine's Day for their partner, and he said something like, "One Valentine's Day my wife surprised me with a giant blanket fort. She had her parents watch our daughter, bought all my favorite snacks and sushi for dinner, had Lord of the Rings ready to play, and made a pillow nest on the floor inside the fort. Best wife ever." He doesn't have social media and isn't one for writing letters or cards. Doesn't make a big show of his affections for me. So to see him gushing about me online was so I love that goose. Your story is so sweet. I'm not going to read any more answers to this question. I didn't expect to be pleasantly surprised when I went to view the comments. Not partner, but family. We have a family group on WhatsApp. One day I realized that people stopped talking as much. They didn't stop fully, but it was way less. I thought it was life getting busy and people just not using WhatsApp as much anymore. One day my aunt asked me to fix something on her phone. I took a peek and saw that they created another group without me, and it was full of recent messages. Not one for going through my partner's phone. Though one time, when we were getting back together, she asked to see my phone, which I gave her. When I asked to see hers, she got really defensive and refused to give it to me. We didn't get back together in the end lol. That's pretty dumb on her part to ask to see yours and not expect to have to show hers. Notes app with a title must read. It is a long list of things he should do when we have an argument, as if talking to himself. And it's always followed by a compliment about me. Like one is ask her for a couple minutes to compose and calm down, because you might say bad things you don't mean out of frustration. She's very sweet, understanding, caring. Your baby doesn't deserve to cry. It might be bare minimum to others, but he has always been mentally struggling with dealing with negative emotions. Although we are adults, we are each other's firsts, so it's a constant learning, and he's improving a lot, but sometimes he beats himself up for it. Writing this just makes me cry, but I'm so proud of him for going beyond his limits and comfort zone. I don't see this as the bare minimum. I see this as a man who's working hard to ensure you feel safe and loved with him, constantly striving to grow and be better at recognizing the impact his words/actions can have on those around him. Sounds like integrity and accountability in action. Humans make mistakes. We have bad days and react poorly. Arguments can quickly escalate. But this screams I'm learning from my mistakes and making specific plans for how to not continue this behavior in the future.